Привет, rolling scope. Ja nie говорю по-русски, so I would do this talk in English. Just wanted to clarify because every single taxi driver assumes that I speak fluent Russian. So, just throwing it out there. So this talk will be about three things. We will talk about VR, AR, and React. So, this all sounds like future stuff, isn't it? And by the way, this is correct, because we are living in the future. And in order to appreciate the future, what we have right now, it's kind of important to remember the past. And by the way, this is me giving my first talk on HTML tables back in 1996. So as you can clearly see, I have like 20 years of experience as a speaker. So what was the web like 5 years ago? Well, for starters, we have to support i8. I know I did. And I've hated every single minute of it. And if someone used to have to support i8, you are my heroes. I mean it. Also, we didn't have many fancy things like, PWAs, Flexbox. Like those things simply weren't there a couple of years ago. But we did have jQuery. And jQuery was, and by the way, it still is, the best thing ever to happen to the web. So one might say, wow. So it means the web has to vastly change over the course of the last couple of years. And this is only partially true. I believe that some things haven't changed that much. By the way, this is my private opinion, and you are welcome to disagree. My point is that so much of the web is about basically having a white background and displaying lists of content that you got from the backend. Amazon, GitHub, Facebook list of, I don't know, Reddit, Twitter, YouTube with Justin Bieber videos. I mean, those are all fantastic websites, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm addicted to Twitter, and, and YouTube. But nevertheless, I honestly think like the web, it can be so much more than this. There's some other possibilities that we can explore. And to tell you the truth, it's just fun to explore. Like, I'm not saying that, OK, you will use VR on production, because some things aren't just meant for VR. But it's just fun to look at some new stuff from a different perspective, and you never know where it's going to take you. Because like I said, we are living in the future, which is weird. As in, when I was a boy, a small boy, like, I was kind of expecting we would have flying cars by now. I mean, come on, it's 2018. By the way, Elon, this doesn't count. I mean, technically, of course, it is a flying car, but you know what I mean. Like, I kind of expected something different. Speaking of cars, when I was a very small boy, again, my mother used to tell me not to get into a car with a stranger. 20 years later, we are literally summoning strangers from thin air just to drive us home because we are too drunk to drive. And she also told me not to sit too close to the TV, because then I will have to wear those for the rest of my life, which I do, by the way, because I didn't listen. 20 years later, we have this. We are strapping screens to our faces to get VR. Anyway, back to the web. In 2018, we can do more. And we have all kinds of different frameworks and possibilities that we didn't have before. One of the cool new things is React. And if you don't know, and by the way, it's fine, because you don't have to follow every single trend on Hacker News and Twitter, it is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces, made by Facebook a couple of years ago. It's very famous that it's gaining more stars on GitHub with every single passing day. One of the reasons why React is so popular is its flexibility. Like, you can use React for all kinds of things. This is a list, see, lists again, of things that you can use React for. And you have React for native apps. You have React for Canvas. You have React for terminal. You have React for Word documents. You have React for TV and React for microwave. OK, maybe not microwave, but you get the point. And I would like to focus here in this talk on two things similar to React. React for AR and VR. And let me start with an R. So according to Wikipedia, an R is a unit of area about 100 square meters, defined by all the, OK, this is not the correct thing. Sorry, wrong slides. AR, which stands for Augmented Reality. Not to be confused with virtual reality, because this is something else entirely, and I will get to that. And I'm not going to quote Wikipedia again, but my understanding is that basically AR is a layer on top of the real world. So you have actual content that you can see with your own eyes or through glasses, if you're blind like me, and you can display something on top of it, like, I don't know, indicator on the top of your head, how much are you enjoying this talk. And basically, it more or less looks like this. You have actual content, as in this table, keyboard, a bit of a MacBook on the left, and something that isn't actually there. It's displayed on top of the real world. By the way, this is a screenshot from not the brand new iPhone, not the brand new Samsung Pixel device, but from a rather old Android device. Because the web is not only about brand new iPhones. It's for everyone, and not only for those who have $3,000 to buy a new iPhone or whatever. OK, moving on. AR, it's been around for quite a while. This is a fun fact. Like, the US military was experimenting with AR back in 1992. So it's 26 years ago. And there are different types of AR. But in this talk, I would like to focus on marker-based AR, because this is what's possible and simplest and the most accessible type of AR on the web. By the way, I'm not going to use like markers like this, more like this. So this is a marker that the AR is using to kind of know where it is. So you have an AR app, you can look around, and whenever you happen to see the marker, oh, the AR knows, OK, I should probably display something on top of it. And how do we get this on the web with React? So we have something called React AR. To be fair, it's actually called React Web AR, but it's kind of hard to pronounce. So I call it React AR. There are also some solutions from native, hence the distinction about the web. And it's available on GitHub. It's an open source project made by an amazing guy called Nitin Tulswani, who makes all kinds of crazy things on GitHub. He shares them all the time on Twitter, so you should definitely go and follow him. And please note, experimental and work in progress. And this library, it's standing on the shoulders of giants. As in, I'm not going to go through all technologies that were used in order to make this happen. But we have things like React, AR.js, which is a JavaScript library for making AR on the web possible in the first place. You have iframe, which is a VR framework by Mozilla, and a bunch of other stuff. My point is that all of this work was done for you, and what is left is basically to play around, explore new things, because you never know where it's going to take you. And this is what the source code of a very simple hello world of AR looks like. So what you have here is basically a bunch of React components, and you get two new from React Web AR. So you have this A-frame renderer and a marker. So what this renderer does is basically it's telling the app, oh, OK, this part of the app is basically for AR. And you have a marker. So it says, hey, app, if you happen to see the marker, this is set to hero, this default marker I've showed earlier. If you happen to see this marker, just go ahead and display a blue box and also rotate it so it's interesting to look at. Like I said, it is experimental, and it is work in progress. So I should probably not show it live. Let's do this. So what I'm going to do is that I will be sharing the screen of my phone. Not my phone, because I only have one, so I'll share the screen instead. And I have a couple of demos that I would like to show you. And by the way, this, like I said, it's highly risky, so at least it will be fun for you if it's going to break live. All right, you can see my screen with a bit of lag, but it's fine. OK, just let me switch to the 1. All right. So you can see the view from my camera. This is the view from the stage, by the way. Hi, everyone. All right, so I'm looking around, and I cannot see anything interesting apart from, of course, you guys. But if I start looking at the marker, it should display the AR image. Now, let me just try it again. Oh, there we go. See? This is working on the web. I didn't have to install anything. Like, you have this all kinds of content displayed in your browser window. When I move my head over it, there you go, it's no longer detected. But if I move my head away, there you go. Only a couple of lines of code, and you can start creating your own experiences. By the way, those demos are pretty easy, because I don't want my phone to overheat. Custom markers. Because we don't want to use only the default stuff. We want to have something on our own. Suppose I wanted to use a logo of a certain JavaScript conference as a marker. There's a website for this. This is called AR.js marker training. What you do is you upload an image and get a trained marker instead. And this is what you're going to do in the code. So you have presets set to custom, type of pattern, because it is a pattern, and you only need to supply one of those, to be honest. Bam, there we go. Now it's fixed. Let's see how it works. So I'm going to switch to the second demo. Give me a sec. All right, so it's loading now. Let me just quickly refresh it just in case. Yeah. All right, so I'm having a custom marker, so it's no longer reacting to this hero marker. It's not reacting to my hand or to you, but it is, hopefully, going to react to our conference logo. There we go. So, like I said, you have this full flexibility of what you're going to do and what you're going to display. Imagine you go to a museum, and you point your phone at the picture of Mona Lisa or whatever, and you get an information, all right, so this was painted apparently by Leonardo da Vinci. So this is all kinds of crazy things that you can do using those things. And this is possible on the web, and it's working. I've checked it on a Samsung Galaxy S4. So you don't need to have a brand new device. Let's go a bit further. Let's go and talk about VR, which stands for virtual reality, because we'd like to change the reality a bit. Not only add some new stuff, but also experience different worlds. And it's also been around for quite some time. This is also nothing new. This is an example. So consider this piece of hardware, which was called Virtual Boy. It is a video game console released by Nintendo in the 90s, 1996, I believe. And as you can see, it looks more or less like today VR glasses. So why wasn't it popular? Well, because the gameplay looks like this. So it was red and black. Like it had around 15 FPS. People were vomiting after using it for 20 minutes. And it costed, I don't know, a couple of $100. But now it's 23 years later. We have virtual reality on the web using things like WebVR, and also with React using React VR. And what the hell is it? I mean, I was mentioning a couple of times already. So now the big reveal. It is a JavaScript framework for building VR apps using React. And this using React part is important, because you don't need to have any experience with VR, 3D, WebGL, or anything like this in order to get started. You just need to know a bit of React. And if you don't, it's fine. It's very easy to learn. I mean, I did it, so you can do it too. How do we get started? Very easy. You go to npm, install a single package, but first listen to Asim's talk again about the dangers of npm. Wait for like 2 weeks, because npm, it takes some time. Initialize your project, go to your project directory, and run npm start. Simple as that. 4 commands. Imagine building a 360 view in, I don't know, 2012. It wouldn't be possible. So this is what you're going to get as a result of running this. This is a static image, and I don't like static images, so this is the demo. This is what you're going to get as a result of those commands. So I am inside of this 360 sphere. I can look around. I have this kind of like a chessboard. If I get lost, I can click on this handy compass, and it will going to take me back. And I have this Hello Minsk in 3D text in front of me. By the way, if I move to a different city, I need to update the city manually, as in, it's hard-coded, by the way. So there we go. Only 4 commands, and you have your first 360 view running in a browser without installing any plugins, any updates, or whatever. Like, it just works. And what about the source code? Is it hard to create something like this? No, I can fit it on a single slide. So once again, it is using components, such as Vue. Vue is a component borrowed from React Native, because React VR has actually a lot of common with React Native, more so than it does with React for the web. And you also have some components that are unique to React VR, such as the PayNow component over here. And PayNow is a sphere that surrounds the user. So you can assign a texture, for instance, this chess word over here, and it's going to be displayed on the sphere around the user, so they have something interesting to look at while they are browsing your virtual reality applications. And you also have components like text, images, boxes. Like, I'm not going to go through all of those, because 1, I don't have time, and 2, I am not here to read the documentation. And if you want to change the style of your components, because, well, you probably would want to, you can use the style property. And it is going to work more or less like CSS. You have background colors, font size, paddings, text alignment, and you have transform. Because I said more or less like CSS. It's time for positioning items in 3D space. Because, as if regular CSS wasn't hard enough, now we have the third dimension. So we have X and Y axis. This is what we are used to. But we also have the Z axis. Z axis, by default, is pointing directly to us. So if you want to put something in front of the user, you need to put it in the minus section of the Z axis. We have a bunch of properties for transforming our components. So we have scale, so we can make things a bit larger or smaller as we see fit. We have also rotation, so we can rotate in any axis that we feel like. And we also have translation. I mean, not from English to Russian, but more like from here to there. We can move stuff around as we see fit. And also, if you paid attention in your college classes, which I didn't, but if you did, you can also assign a matrix to your component, and it's going to do the math mumbo-jumbo with the component and modify the properties as you set it. All right. So this is what it looks like. This is yet another scene taken in my apartment, so, send help. I have the React VR logo in front of me, because, by the way, you can assign custom models. And also, I have another logo over here, which is rotated, so I can see it and scale down a bit. I have yet another model over here, which again, was scaled up, rotated in y-axis, sorry, x-axis, so I can probably go ahead and see it. I think there's something else. Oh, there's another one down here. And this is only a couple of lines of code, and you can move stuff around, so you have this full degree of freedom. 360 field of view. And by the way, you can also use Flexbox. So it's no longer 2012. We have Flexbox, and we also have Flexbox in the VR, which is absolutely fantastic if you ask me. Let me get to events, because we'd like our app to actually do something. And there aren't many input events, so I will just go ahead and show them all. We have onEnter and onExit. And those events are launched whenever you start looking at an object or you stop looking at it. Also, you have onMove, which gets executed every single time you move your cursor or your head. And you also have a bunch of on-input events because you want your app to react to something. You have mouse, so you can click, keyboard, touch input, as in on headset, you have this touch board, and if you can afford it, a gamepad event. That's cool. This is all cool, but I know what you're thinking. Like, where the hell is VR in all of this? As in, it's running inside of a browser. Browser is flat, but the virtual reality is all about surrounding the user. So I have the demo, and here's what we're going to do. Like I said, I'm sharing the screen of my phone, so I will be doing that, but also, let me just kill Chrome. I will be also wearing those. So I will have a live VR demo using those glasses, and you will be able to see exactly what I'm seeing in real time, probably with a bit of a lag. One thing that I would like to request to you is that I will not be able to see you. So one, please, no gestures in front of me. Second, if something goes wrong, please let me know. Because it will be quite awkward, for me to get excited and you have black screen. Anyway, let me go in. All right, so it's loading for me. And let me check if you can see something. Yes, you can. Wonderful. So first step out of the way. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of things here. I'm going to launch Samsung Internet Browser for VR. It's going to take a while, because it's a demo, so why should it load fast? Okay. I'm going to switch to a first demo. You can still see it? Yes. Please let me know. When I saw the speakers page of this conference, I thought it should be in VR. I mean, why not? When I saw those images, I was like, oh, we need to have those. So as you can see, I modified the speakers page to be a VR app, and I've got the random sample of some speakers, including myself. And if you notice, when I move my head around, you can see that the picture I'm currently looking at gets bigger. So this is kind of unique, because on other web applications, you didn't have, on-look event. You weren't able to detect when someone was looking at an ad. But here, there you go. When I look at myself, what's up with those teeth, I can even click on myself using this headset over here, and I can read that, all right, my name is Tomasz Łakomy. I happen to be a software engineer at Ignite Poland, and I also co-organize React Poznań meetup. And there we go. You can click on different speakers to get different results. Let me go back to myself. A question. What's up with the static background? It's blue. I shouldn't probably move too much. I can't see anything. Well, VR is all about videos, right? So let me click on that, and let's introduce some video content. It's probably going to take a while to load, because I'm running my own Wi-Fi in here. It's loaded for me, and it's tapped for me, unfortunately. But I can promise it works. As in, you have a video of all those puppies running around. You have to imagine it. Or, I can just show it to you. Let me just click. Come on. Okay, let me try again. There we go. See? This is what we are supposed to see. As in, you have this live panel component that you can use to assign a video in your VR app. All right, let me go back. Because I had this question when I was doing this talk for the first time, as in, what if I wanted to see what's around me? And this is actually a very valid question. I'm not able to see right now, and I kind of wish I could. So there is a component for this, and it is called Live Env Camera. Let me just click on this. Yeah. And live end camera, what it does is that it allows you to use the camera feed from your smartphone as your field of view. It doesn't work by default in those glasses, but hey, React VR is open source. So I decided to fork it and make it work because I kind of miss you. So there we go. I'm going to switch to VR. And as soon as it loads, I will be able to finally see you. Hello, everyone. And there you go. So you have both of those things. You have the actual world and also the VR content. Like, I know it's only a text over here because I wanted to make this demo as simple as possible, but nevertheless, you can imagine where it's going to take you. And I did, by the way. Because I asked myself a question. And the question was, what if I wanted to do both? What if I wanted to have VR and AR? It's kind of like Hololens. Did you hear about this? HoloLens is a device made by Microsoft. Those are basically AR glasses. So you put glasses on your head, and you can see some additional content if you happen to look at something interesting. Like, I was, damn, I should buy it. Then I saw the price. 5,000. As in, this is my week of salary. I mean, come on. Like, I'm not going to spend a week of my salary to do this. So I'm working on something experimental. It barely works, so I'm going to show you a video, just in case. And I call it React VAR, and I'm going to open source it as soon as it's kind of stable. So this is a video. So I'm looking through the Gear VR glasses, and I'm looking at the marker in front of me. I can look around, I can do all kinds of things, and when I happen to look at the marker, there you go, I have AR content in front of me. I can even shake the screen, and bump, it's actually bouncing as we go. So there you go. Like I said, it's just fun to explore, it's fun to try out new and interesting things. I would like to conclude this talk, because I saw a notification that I have 5 more minutes, by saying that the web offers us unlimited possibilities, and it's waiting for us to go and explore them. Thank you so much for listening. Right. Any questions? Not everyone at the same time.
Thank you, Tomasz.
Thank you.
This is our real.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you for inviting me. Cheers.
So we have a short break, and then we continue with next talk.